The new street in the Riverside Museum is going to be similar to the street you see today. It's going to have recreated shops, but you'll be able to enter each one of those shops, and it's also going to be, or appear to be, 2 stories tall. So you're going to get that idea of, your very typical Glasgow street with the sandstone terraced tenement buildings, but with the shops on the ground floor. You'd enter the street from what is a very modern new building, and you'd almost instantly feel that you were taken back in time. You'll see a horse-drawn tram in front of you. There'll be period cars and horse carts in front of you, as well as the shops. And as you walk through, you'd really get that feeling of, I am back in time in Glasgow. You'll be able to enter them. For example, you can go into the photographer's studio and learn about how photography was done around 1900 and 1930, which is the time period for this street. You can find out a little bit about the techniques, but also what it was like and how important it was for people to get their photographs taken, and how it's very much different than today, where it's very instant. Back then you had to sit and you had to be quiet and still. You'll be able to take a photograph of yourself or your family, and then to get that emailed to your email account back home. There's a saddler's shop, which relates directly to transport in Glasgow, because saddlers, or leatherworking for horses, was very important because there were so many horses on the streets. They were used for transport, they were used for taking goods to shops. And also, it's one of those things that has almost completely disappeared from Glasgow streets, but at the time was almost supremely important. You can walk into an Italian ice cream cafe, which at one point was almost on every street corner in Glasgow. You can learn about the cafe and its owner, and the cafe was called Le Rendezvous, and it's actually an original cafe from the East End of Glasgow, so you can look at the original booths, but also learn about kind of the Scots-Italian immigrant experience, and also how ice cream is made and a day in the life of the cafe. You can also go into one of the Glasgow subway stations from about 1900, and that is almost completely different from what you see today. Even though the actual line, the circle, is exactly the same stations and all, you'll be able to kind of experience what it was like when it first opened. So wooden platforms, smaller carriages, and also a system which was drawn by a cable and not powered by electricity. People really like our street at the moment, but it's just shop fronts. It's a shop window, it's a toy shop, it's a dressmaker. But you can't go in, you can't kind of experience going in and buying something, or going in and talking to the photographer about getting a family portrait, where all of these shops you'll be able to walk into, and you'll be able to make that kind of connection either with a real person or with film and audio clips. We do have the personal stories of the people who ran and owned the Italian cafe, and we have the stories about the people who ran the Mitre Bar, as well as recordings of cobblers and cabinet makers today. So we'll really be bringing alive these kind of historical items, as well as being able to showcase this very large and wide collection we have.